As the sun sets on the non-conference portion of the season, Ball State Volleyball returns to Worthen Arena looking to continue a string of conference success thus far. Tonight, it's the Ball State Cardinals taking on the Toledo Rockets, and it's right here on SportsLink TV. Hello everyone, good to see you. Alongside Andy Wright, I'm Torrey Fox. Allison Wilson is our social media correspondent. She will join us later on this evening. Andy, Ball State Volleyball doesn't have a single senior on the roster, and yet they find themselves at the top of the Mid-American Conference.
It's a great predicament, Torrey, for Steve Shondell. All of his players coming back next year. Nobody is a senior, as you said. It's great for the team this year and next year. They're going to be good for a couple more years.
The non-conference portion of the season, Andy, somewhat of a mixed bag at 6 and 7, but Ball State traveled, and they traveled a lot.
They certainly did, Torrey, and 5 of 6 matches they played, they lost, starting in Wyoming and Madison, Wisconsin. Some really tough opponents, but give credit to Shondell for scheduling some very tough opponents. They did turn it around there, Torrey. 3-1 in their last 4 games, a 5-set match at IPFW, and then they went to Virginia in the VCU Invitational and won 2 of 3. So 6 and 7, not ideally where the Cardinals would like to start, but it was a good start nonetheless, and now they're in the Mid-American Conference play.
Unofficially 2,624 miles traveled for the Ball State Cardinals in that non-conference portion. Andy, if Ball State's going to improve to 4-1 in MAC play, who's the player that's going to be the key?
Believe it or not, Torrey, it's going to be a freshman for Ball State. Outside hitter Sabrina Magnapora. Get used to that name if you're a Cardinal fan. 142 kills, 3rd on the team, but really where she has made her mark is not only on the offensive end, but in blocking. 15 solo blocks for her. That is leading the team. That's a very difficult thing to do, and she's got passion, energy, and she likes the big moment. She wants to get that kill on the last point of a set. And now for Toledo, my player to watch is going to be Alyssa Earhart. The sophomore outside setter is the clear leader to this team, according to head coach Greg Smith. She's got 173 kills. That leads the team. 164 digs. That's 2nd on the team. She's had 4 double-doubles, and she's going to be everywhere on the court. She'll hit. In fact, she had 72 attack attempts against Eastern Michigan last weekend. So she's going to be early, active early and often.
Ball State looking for double-digit wins this season. Toledo desperately seeking its 2nd. First serve is coming up right after this. Alex Filling, take it away.
This is Alex Filling, and you're watching SportsLink TV. Chirp, chirp.
Okay, sports fans, it's game time at the Built Ford Tough Sales event. Hey, this is when
necessary toughness
is the perfect play. And Ford F-150 with EcoBoost is a huge hit with power and efficiency. And keep an eye on the clock, pal, because fans snag one of these bad boys about every 42 seconds. Ford F-Series, #1, 37 years straight. That's called a dynasty, baby. Now, during the Built Ford Tough Sales event, score big savings on the hardest working lineup of trucks on the field.
Hundreds of real-world interviews at Ball State helped me realize the responsibility that comes with being in front of the camera. Society needs passionate journalists. Now I'm on air in DC with the whole world watching. Ball State, education redefined.
Welcome back to Worthen Arena. The Rockets and Cardinals about to do battle here in Muncie. As we go ahead and get started, we'll look at the starting lineups for both squads. You look at Toledo, Andy, one thing of note, Brianna Foster is going to get to start today. That jumps out to me. We'll talk about that a little bit later, but you look at Ball State, Marissa Hine, number 16, she's getting her first start at home tonight.
And there's an interesting story about her, Torrey. Marissa Hine is actually from Noblesville, Indiana, went to college for 2 years in Tennessee, but then decided she wanted to come back home. So she transferred to Ball State, and she had a week to walk on. She did, and she made the team. So she's a walk-on, a great story on the Cardinal volleyball team.
We'll definitely keep our eye on that. We'll meet the coaches first for Toledo. It's Greg Smith. He's in his 6th season at the helm there in Toledo. He is a Rochester, Indiana native and actually led Toledo last season to its first conference championship in program history. He also spent 1 year as an assistant coach at the University of Indianapolis. For Ball State, you know him, it's Steve Shondell, his 5th season leading the Cardinal volleyball program, 96 and 46 in his career at Ball State. 48-20 in MAC play. He was the 2010 MAC Coach of the Year, also led the Cardinals to the 2011 NCAA tournament. The referees for tonight's matchup, it will be Dan Apel and CJ Maccabee-Rayer. The linesmen will be Blake Everhart and John Frizzle. So once again, the Cardinals and Rockets getting set. The Cardinals being introduced right now as, well, we got a moment, Andy, as we kind of take a step back. Talking to Coach Steve Shondell earlier in the week, he believes, despite the Cardinals being 9-8 overall, feels the team's right where he expected them to be.
Well, we mentioned they went 6-7 in non-conference, and it was a real struggle because they played some tough opponents. The University of Wisconsin was their main opponent. They were the national runner-up last year. They played the University of Miami Hurricanes, and they also played, in addition, VCU, some really tough teams. But here they are in Mid-American Conference play already with 3 wins in their 4 matches, and really, the team played their best volleyball tournament last weekend against Eastern Michigan and Central. Just 2 matches that really solidified where the Cardinals are. Their offense looked like Q, and ball control, which is what this team is defined by, Tori. Setting up the passing from the first hit to the setter to the attacker, which what Ball State is defined by, was really in sync for the first time this season. And in some ways, it's good that they're finally starting to play better now in Mid-American Conference because they'll roll through this part of the season with a lot more success if they are playing their best.
When you look at Toledo, Andy, this is a very, very young team. They are returning just 1 starter. They've got 5, 6, 7 new players on this team, all of them seeing action. It's been a very difficult season for Coach Greg Smith. Again, the Rockets just 1-16 overall, but when you talk to Coach Smith, he believes there's a lot of positives when you got a young team because you get them in game action, and you get them in game action right off the bat.
Absolutely. That's one thing that these players are going to get that a lot of players on other teams don't get, is experience. Growth is going to happen, and this team is going to make mistakes, but it's about how you learn from it. And Toledo, don't think that Ball State is just going to take them lightly. They were, again, the MAC West division leader. They tied with Ball State for that division, and they were the 2nd seed in the Mid-American Conference tournament. Indeed, they did lose a lot of players. 4 of 5 starters last year left, but it's not a challenge that Greg Smith and his team isn't ready to overcome. So don't expect Ball State to overcome Toledo, and Toledo is going to come in here trying to pull it off an upset at Worthen Arena.
Toledo and Ball State have some history. When you look back last year, it was actually Toledo who swept Ball State both times. Ball State at Worthen Arena jumped out to a 2-set-to-love lead against Toledo, and the Rockets came back, stole that matchup away from the Cardinals. So I suspect a lot of the starters on the Cardinal side do remember that game and would like to perhaps get a little revenge this evening.
Yeah, this is certainly a game that Ball State had circled on their radar because Steve Shondell said, we just took Toledo for granted and we lost twice. And so it just happens, and it's the same situation here tonight. Just because the record shows 1 win doesn't mean Ball State isn't going to put forth all their effort.
Marissa Hine will get us started. We're underway here at Worthen Arena. First attack comes from Sage Thomas. Alex Filling will counter. Toledo will just play it over. Another opportunity for the Cardinal offense, but stopped by Hines. Great first point here at Worthen. Hine able to save it as Magnapora to Spadafora. Not necessarily how they drew it up, Andy, but a point's a point, and it's 1-0 Ball State.
Yeah, that was Lauren Bakaitis, the libero, unfortunately unable to get the ball off the ground. Spadafora with a lucky sneak attack on the 3rd try.
A little miscommunication out of Toledo. Brooke Frazier tries to just play a dump. It's unsuccessful, and Alex Filling comes up with the kill.
And it's a good sign if you're a Cardinal fan to see Alex Filling on that outside spot. She has actually been the libero, Tori, at some point, mostly playing in the back row. This is actually, I believe, her first start on the outside since early on in the season.
The libero position has been one that the Cardinals have been adjusting all season long. We saw Filling in that position midway through the year, actually won a MAC West Division Defensive Player of the Week honor. She's been moved back to that attacking position. As Coach Shondell said, we've given Alex Filling her arm back. Toledo able to get on the board courtesy of Sage Thomas.
And Thomas, someone you probably didn't think about coming into this match. As we mentioned, Alyssa Earhart is our player to watch, but she still does have 83 kills in limited playing time. Another one of these freshmen that Coach Smith has had to rely on.
The right side hitter from Corpus Christi, Texas is Thomas. It's 3-2 here in the first set. Toledo, we mentioned them being a very young team. They have lost 6 straight service error there. And again, they are just trying to get game action, trying to get experience, and quite honestly, at 1-16, 0-4 in the conference, they're just trying to be the spoiler wherever they go.
Yeah, one thing you have to realize is that the college volleyball game is much faster than high school, so these freshmen coming together who don't have much experience have to rely on instincts in order to play the game well.
A poor set and a poor attack, the point to Ball State. Now 5-2 here in set number 1 as Alex Filling will go back to serve. Spatafora, a smart play, however, Toledo able to fish it out. The set to Benson, whistle blows.
And Benson was into the net that time. Anytime if you're an attacker, your hand hits the net on the attack, or rather Toledo was in the net. Different call there, so it actually goes in favor of Ball State.
But again, to your point, if you're into the net, that's not a good thing.
Yeah, it's a point for the other side.
Toledo already struggling to get their offense in sync. We've seen a couple of attempts, little miscommunication off the net, and Ball State is taking advantage early.
And there you see Sabrina Magnaport going down the line, getting the kill. 7-2, the Cardinals lead. Great start.
It is a great start. We'll go ahead and take our first break. You're watching Ball State Women's Volleyball on SportsLink TV.
The Emmy Award-winning student production from Ball State SportsLink has a new look and a new partner. Stoops Automotive is proud to present Ball State's only all-sports magazine show telling the best stories in Ball State athletics. Driven Airs.
Ball State SportsLink is bigger than ever. The best stories in Ball State sports, live game production, award-winning studio shows, and more. It's only from Ball State SportsLink, an immersive learning production.
Welcome back. 7-2 Cardinal advantage in game number 1. Let's talk about Mackenzie Kitchell. Okay, Andy, last season right here on SportsLink TV, she tore her ACL. She is healthy this year. She has returned, jumping 2 inches higher, and she's been huge for Coach Shondell and the Cardinals.
Yeah, she provides that depth on the outside for the Cardinals, and it was a devastating blow for them last year. She was one of their leading attackers, hitting over 260. Here she's back in action for the Cardinals, 115 attacks. She hasn't made the play yet here so far in this match, but she will get some playing time. And again, an exciting story for Mackenzie Kitchell. Tough rehab to get back here before the season, but she did it, and she's paying dividends for the Cardinals here this season.
Well, how about the fact that she's jumping 2 inches higher post-surgery? That doesn't happen often. If that happens to you or me, Andy, we're probably jumping about 2 to 3 inches shorter, perhaps more. As Coach Shondell also talked about earlier in the week, speaking of Kitchell, she's jumped the best last weekend versus Eastern Michigan and Central Michigan, and it's important for Kitchell and people like Haley Benson, who we just saw, to jump vertically, not horizontally. We'll talk a little bit more about that later.
And Haley Benson and Kelly Hopkins double teaming on the block against Alyssa Earhart. There you see Benson, known for her offense, but her 6'3" frame allows her to get very high up the net, and it just makes it so difficult for the attackers.
Already 10-2 here in the first set. Filling from the back row.
And that's a dangerous weapon that Steve Shondell has in Alex Filling. She can hit from the outside, but coming from the back row, and that's one of the reasons he has her back there, because her power actually gives the defense a shock from that situation. And now Ball State's up 11-2.
Near side, Annie Beasley's attack sails along. And already, we talk about the offense of Ball State. You could look at it defensively for Toledo. Early here in set number one, they've just not had the presence at the net to slow down the Cardinals.
Yeah, the Rockets have really struggled in blocking. Their last in the Mid-American Conference, and length is really a part of that. Really nobody on the Toledo Rockets side over 6 feet very high, as another service ace goes toward the Cardinals. And right now, you're seeing the youth of Toledo, Tori, on full display.
Timeout on the floor as Coach Smith wants to talk about it already here in set number one. Toledo really their own worst enemy. I mentioned in pregame, Allison Wilson is our social media correspondent. Allison, I'll send it over to you.
All right, thanks, Tori. Hey, we are being interactive this game, so make sure you're tweeting at us, Facebooking us, Instagramming us if you want us to give you a shout out or retweet you. So you can follow us at BSU SportsLink on Twitter, at BSU SportsLink on Instagram, or if you're still on Facebook, you can see us at Ball State SportsLink. So if you tweet us anything, we will be sure to get back to you. So back to you, Tori.
Thank you, Allison. You are combing through social media. You're keeping the pulse of the nation right there on your laptop. So, Andy, as I turn back to you, a 10-0 run out of the Cardinals. And already, if you're Toledo, if you're Coach Smith, let's go at it that way, Andy. What are you telling your team?
This is a team that actually defends well, Tori. He talked about, when he talked to us, how this team defends well as a unit. They're actually 6th in the Mid-American Conference in digs, and they had 2 players last weekend have 20-plus digs. But here, it's just simply defense and miscommunication and errors. They've been into the net, they've hit service errors, and right now Toledo, after 2 timeouts, needs to get things together.
Annie Beasley once again able to find the ground, point to Toledo. And Coach Smith also talked about he just wants to see consistency out of his team. It's not necessarily about wins and losses. It's not necessarily about sets won and lost. It's about going out and consistently performing match to match.
Sabrina
Mangapora with the kill.
I can't tell you enough, Tori, how difficult that attack was. Down the sideline, check out this cross-court set, and she goes past the blocker with power. Only a freshman. Imagine how good she's going to be in 3 years.
Not a lot of room when you're going down the line, especially in volleyball. As Alex Filling, what a dig there. They'll go back to Magnapora into the block. And a nice play by Rachel Vitorek, the redshirt freshman from Oxford, Ohio.
When we talked to Coach Smith, he really praised Vitorek, again, as a freshman, leading the team in attack percentage for things like that. She hit the ball back on the other side after the block.
Feeding Magnapora. Not necessarily the greatest set out of Spadafora, but no bother for the freshman. And I remember in the preseason, Andy, Steve Shondell believing that Magnapora was playing the best volleyball in her entire life, and it's really starting to show here for the Cardinals this season.
At that point, we'll go off the block, you're right. Sabrina only played 1 match or 1 season of club volleyball, and that's significant because most of these players now play club volleyball. You talk about Munciana here in the local area. Sabrina, only 1 year, then comes into college volleyball and is playing significantly well.
124 kills over the past 11 matches for Magnapora.
But
let's
another player
also bring up Kelly Hopkins, who is 5th in the Mid-American Conference in league-only matches with a .386 hitting percentage. That's going to bump up the average right there, as we just saw. 16-5 Cardinals. That one out of bounds. It's now 17-5. And within a matter of moments, Andy, Ball State already closing in on set number 1.
Yeah, they actually had a match against Central Michigan earlier this week where they won 25-8. They are capable of these big set wins. But not that time. Toledo responds.
You bring up that Central Michigan match. That was a very dominant performance out of the Cardinals. And if you take out the 8 to 9 point run the Chippewas made in set number 2, it would have been an easy sweep for the Cardinals as opposed to going to 4.
Yeah, it certainly would, and Central Michigan made it tough, but that's a situation where if you're a team, you want to limit runs. In volleyball, runs are going to happen. That's just the nature of the game, but you want to limit it to 2 or 3 point runs. But give credit to Central Michigan, but Ball State knows they can play better than that.
Out of bounds, point to Toledo.
Jessica Lindsay misses wide and long, 17 to 7. And if Ball State is able to keep the pressure on Toledo, I suspect we'll see a lot of different Cardinals tonight. Earhart unable to come up with the kill. Here's Mackenzie Kitchell blocking air out of the Rockets.
And she just tooled the Toledo block there, and that's what happens when you attack the ball and it goes off the blocker's hands and goes out of bounds on your side. So even though the block got it to the Ball State side, they didn't land it in bounds, equaling a point for Ball State.
Brooke Frazier, the senior, the lone returning starter for Coach Greg Smith, comes up with the attack and kill off of a Ball State Cardinal. She was second team All-MAC last season and actually had a career high 14 kills and 11 blocks versus Ball State last year on November 7th. Great block there. Annie Beasley, the freshman from Indianapolis.
Along with Frazier, who I should mention leads this team in blocks, Tori, 37 total. She has 9 solo blocks of her own. So she really solidifies Toledo's blocking attempts there.
Lindsay once again, 50-50 ball, won by Haley Benson.
And that is why Haley Benson is already the 2-time MAC West Player of the Year. Here you see her going up with 2 hands, free balling down the court onto the Cardinal head. Haley Benson is like an automatic metronome. She just gets points over and over and over.
19 to 9. As when you look at the Ball State offense, Andy, and you certainly from a radio side will know this more than I, but the middle of the Ball State offense is key each and every time they come out.
You called it, Tori. The middles are what even Coach Greg Smith alluded to us here. As you see this nice replay, Spatafort trying to go with the no-look pass. And again, it goes back to that middle play. She's going into the middle, trying to attack it out of there. And Ball State has great depth in the middle. Not just Haley Benson, but Kelly Hopkins can play there as well.
This one will have to be played over by the Cardinals. Toledo trying to set something up. Here's Beasley, able to just clip the line to pull the Rockets within 8. So just as we talked about, maybe the Cardinals running away with set 1, Toledo hanging around, going to at least make the Cardinals work for it as we go to the replay there. A fantastic angle right above the net. There's Haley Benson right on cue. When the Cardinals needed a point, they got it.
Unleash the beast. Haley Benson in the net. Look at this replay going straight up, arm extended, straight down in front of the libero Lauren Bakaitis. Haley Benson can pack a punch.
Benson ranks 5th in the Mid-American Conference in hitting percentage at .326 coming into tonight.
Out of bounds, point.
Toledo misses wide right, and another point to the Cardinals. It's back to a 10-point deficit for the Rockets. As when you pair up Haley Benson and Kelly Hopkins, Andy, combined, they have 105 of the 230 kills Ball State has had in league-only games. So a lot of that offense, about 45% going off of that stat, runs through 2 players, Benson and Hopkins.
Yeah, they have been the 2 players that have been crucial to offensive success, leading the team. Kelly Hopkins actually did not play regular volleyball last year. She was not an active starter. Here she's producing as a redshirt junior.
Hines tried to sneak it over. Ball State was prepared. And another attack error out of Toledo.
And Alyssa Earhart on the attack. Again, she's my player to watch for Toledo. She actually came up to that ball, Tori, running at full speed, and she hit a little too much into the ball, which caused the ball to soar all the way towards the end line and out of bounds. Ball State back with a 10-point lead here late in the first set.
Right in front of us, Beasley blocked by Jenna Spadafora. Coach Shondell, when we talked to him earlier this week, said if there's anything that the Cardinals could improve on, it is the blocking. But I don't know, looking at that replay right there, seeing it right in front of us, blocking looks pretty good for the Cardinals.
And a solo block nonetheless.
What a stop by Filling in the back. The Cardinals able to get it over. Toledo, a little helter-skelter action for the Rockets, and a point to the Cardinals, and it's set point here at 24-12.
That's a play you don't see every day. It was saved by Alex Filling. Here, cue the music, a tradition at Worthen Arena as set point starts. Now we have a whistle blowing.
Music kind of came in late. We might have a timeout as the referees, Dan Apel there on the near side on your television screen, sorting things out. And we're back to the action. I think the Cardinals are focused on their blocking this evening, Andy.
We might as well join the block party because the Cardinals are having a good time with it. Sabrina Magnapora and Kelly Hopkins on the left side blocking Toledo. It lands inbounds, and the first set is underway. Ball State wins 1-0.
Well said, Andy. We'll go ahead and take a break. You're watching Ball State Women's Volleyball on SportsLink TV.
I am Jenna Spadafora, and you're watching SportsLink TV. Chirp, chirp.
This is Aaron Taylor. Be sure to watch SportsLink Third Down Chirp Friday at noon. One team, one mission.
And as the clock ran down, I sank the jumper.
And took the big trophy home.
And Aunt Jane.
I guess I did all right. But look at them. Cradle of coaches, Hall of Famers.
And Dad ran in the Olympic trials.
Your cousin played in the Sweet 16. And how about the College World Series?
That was awesome. If only I
You can. You both can. I'm already proud of you. Now, who gets these?
Me.
The Mid-American Conference. Generations of champions since 1946.
Set number one to the Cardinals as you take a nice look at Frog Baby. If you come to the Ball State campus, more than likely you are going to look at this beautiful sculpture. Again, the Cardinals take the first set. We're going to focus more on the head coach, Steve Shondell, who just recently was inducted into the Burris Athletics Hall of Fame, the very first person ever to go into that Hall of Fame on September 16th this year. Bill Scholl in attendance, a lot of dignitaries around the community, around the volleyball world were on hand to see Steve Shondell get inducted. And when you look at the resume, Andy, of what Steve Shondell was able to accomplish, look at that. 4 national titles, 1,183 wins over 34 years. He got to 1,000 wins before he got to 100 losses.
If you've heard the term, Tori, that Delaware County is the volleyball capital of the America, well, that term was coined by Steve Shondell for that very reason. Great success, sustained success, and it's just important for Steve Shondell here as we take a look. 1976 was his first year coaching, Tori.
Look at that. A gallon of gas only costs 59 cents.
I'm lucky to find it for $3.30.
I know. I think I just got it for about $3.11, $3.12. 59 cents in 1976. Also, Happy Days was the #1 television show. I'm a big television fan. Always good to fit Happy Days onto the program. And then, of course, the Apple computer by Steve Jobs. I mean, I don't know how our society would function without Apple and without Steve Jobs.
Yeah, that's pretty remarkable to think that is almost 40 years ago that Steve Shondell started coaching at Muncie Burris, and he took over Ball State back in 2010 with the same sustained success. They have played well here this year. congratulations, though, to Steve Shondell from us, because it is a well-deserved honor, and he continues that same passion with the Ball State volleyball program, which the athletics program here and the entire university is appreciative of.
And it's not the only Hall of Fame he's been inducted into. The 2007 American Volleyball Coaches Association put him into their Hall of Fame. The Ball State athletics community put Shondell into the Hall of Fame in 2005. So when you think volleyball, when you think of Muncie, you have to mention the Shondell name, specifically Steve. He has done so much over his career. Set number 2 has begun here at Worthen Arena. Again, the Cardinals took the first set by a score of 25-12. And as we look at specifics, Andy, if you're Toledo, boy, you have to think the first few points of this set are going to be crucial because Ball State has all the momentum in this match.
As we see another point going to Toledo, you're right, Tori. It all starts with Ball State's effort on the offensive end. Here, just a mishap from Spadafora having to go after that poor pass. And again, passing is something that this team really establishes itself with. That time we did not see good passing, leading to the point for Toledo.
First time we've seen the Cardinals have a deficit. Let's see who they go to. It's Benson there in the middle. Although Toledo able to fight it off, and they have jumped out to a 4-0 lead. So in terms of coming out, in terms of momentum, Toledo has it. And Andy, my question to you is, in this situation, who are the Cardinals going to turn to?
Well, the Cardinals can always go to Haley Benson. As you see her in the middle, will likely get some looks. She has already had some, but right now it's Mackenzie Kitchell on the outside who will get a lot of looks for the Cardinals. And between those two players, that's where the Cardinals are going to get their offense from.
4-1 Toledo here at set number 2. 50-50 ball won by the Cardinals. Jenna Spadafora.
And Spadafora with her 3rd total block already in this match. That's her 2nd assisted block. Already has 1 solo block, 2 combined blocks for the Cardinals. Again, can you tell that the Cardinals are doing well in blocking?
And Toledo continuing to be its own worst enemy. Just combing over the first set stats quickly, Andy. Ball State as a team hit 423. Toledo hit below 0. And I'm not a volleyball expert, but when you hit below 0, that's never a good thing.
Yeah, negatives do not work out well. This isn't golf. This is volleyball, and it's different because as we get back into the action, you want to hit in the positives on the offensive attacking side. And Haley Benson, Tori, now with 6 kills in 8 attacks after that one. Here this time she goes up and hits a cross quarter past the libero, Bakaitis. Not easy to do past a great defender like Bakaitis, who already has 200 digs.
Toledo's quick lead has been erased. As Spadafora, right place, right time, able to find the corner. And the Cardinals have jumped ahead 5-4. Marissa Hine will go back to serve.
And going back to that attack percentage, the difference in the first set, Ball State hit 42%, Toledo hit -3%. So that's a 45% difference, but it's changing because Toledo, here as you see, already hitting well. Brooke Frazier with that attack.
Brooke Frazier, as we mentioned earlier, the lone returner for the Toledo Rockets. And Coach Smith talked about Frazier when we had the chance to catch up with him. She's been asked to be the leader. Big shoes to fill after last year's group. So Frazier has had to do a lot with a very young team. Frazier, the senior from Monroe, Michigan, it's got to be a difficult spot to be in.
Yeah, she doesn't have a lot to work with when her past teammates all leave because of graduation or transfers. But here she's being stout and has a chance to be a leader on this team and really teach these players what Toledo volleyball is all about. As we see back into the action, Toledo tying it up at 6 again. Alyssa Erdhart, again, mentioned that name many times. She already has now 3 kills in 7 attempts. So she's been active so far.
So Toledo making it a priority to feed Earhart. They're on the outside. Cardinals have to just play it over. This time up the middle to Vitorek.
And Haley Benson was into the net. That's another situation where you're trying to block the attack, but your hands just get stuck in the net, and the official at the top is going to call that every time.
No doubt. A much better set being played by Toledo than the first one. Magnapora closest to us. Plays it over. This one off the net, clips the line. Sage Thomas, the freshman with the kill.
Sage Thomas is actually Toledo's best hitter here so far. Now 4 kills in 6 attempts here in this match, leading the way for the Toledo attack.
Magnapora unable to come up with the point. They'll go back to Earhart there on the far side. Spadafora tries to get sneaky, tries to hit the line closest to us. A little too much power, and the point to the Rockets. It's 9-6 Toledo. Well, Haley Benson can attack from the middle. She can also attack on the outside. And again, when the Cardinals needed a point, they go to number 18.
Yeah, Tori, that's what I like to call a curl route. It's like in football when the player comes back to the other side, attacks across her body there, goes down the line. Haley Benson, again, now 7 kills. We're not even halfway through the second set.
So this match could come down to who's going to have more kills. Is it going to be Earhart for Toledo, or is it going to be Benson for the Cardinals?
And don't get me wrong, Earhart's a great player, but Benson has a 5-kill lead on Earhart. It's tough to beat because the middle is going to get a lot more looks than the outside depending on how the offense is set up. And Ball State's offense favors their middles, whereas Earhart is really the lone option on the offensive side consistently for Smith. He talked about she's been the one that's been healthy the most early on.
Very good point. Vasilakis serves. Sage Thomas, again, too long. Point to the Cardinals. As now we're starting to see Toledo get a little inconsistent. We saw it at the beginning of the set, Andy. It's starting to waver. Coach Smith realizes that. He walks out, tries to get his team fired up. As if they're not careful, the set's going to get away. But however, when you get attacks from Viderek like that, no reason why Toledo can't keep it close.
And look at this transition between the setter and Viderek. A quick pass on target, that's very important. They work on that all season to try and develop that rhythm. And Viderek, as a freshman, already has that with Alex Hines.
There is the freshman, Magnapora. Finds the line, gives the Cardinals a 1-point advantage.
And she has given Ball State a luxury with how well she is playing. Normally, Alex Filling would be on that outside hit, but because Magnapora is playing so well, Alex Filling can be a dangerous attacker from the back row and change things up.
Yeah, fair to say, Magnapora is the one who benefited the most from the Filling switch to libero. She had a career-high 16 kills versus Western Michigan. Toledo able to get a point back here, courtesy of Earhart.
And that's just all power. There's nothing you can do if you're a defender. You have to try and guess where the ball's going to go, but that ball flying in at 30 miles an hour.
Magnapora has the hot hand. The Ball State Cardinals go to her. This time up the middle, Kelly Hopkins.
Kelly Hopkins, another good story for the Cardinals, Tori. Only played in limited action last year, but here starting, filling the shoes of former senior Lauren Grant, now second on the team in kills behind Haley Benson. She's been just as good as a player and automatic as Haley Benson has.
And Kelly Hopkins, she played behind Mindy Marks, played behind Haley Benson, didn't necessarily see a lot of playing time last year. That off the hands of Box. But she has gotten many more opportunities this year, and for the most part, she's taken full advantage.
She has, and that's what you have to do when you're given the opportunity. As you see that attack going off the hands of Nikki Box. Box just not ready for that one. And again, the match is tied up at 12. Toledo, give them credit, are fighting and keeping it alive here in the second set.
I would venture to say Ball State's ball control hasn't necessarily been on point here in set number 2. Kelly Hopkins coming up with another big kill. Coach Sondell pointed that out, that over the course of the season when Ball State has really needed a point late, it's been Hopkins who's provided that. But Coach Shondell also mentioned the staple of the program is something that Ball State has to do well each and every time is ball control.
Ball control, if you don't understand what that means for our viewers, is simply the passing of the ball, and it starts with the reception of the defense. Ball State, that can be Katie Vasilakis, the libero. She passes it to the setter, Spatafora, who again passes it to the attacker, and by making it the least problematic and getting the attack fluidly, the Cardinals get the best offensive look. It's all about the passing.
Off the block.
Sage Thomas. Once again, the freshman being by far Coach Smith's best player on this team, giving the Rockets again a 14-13 lead.
As the point goes to the Cardinals there, but that one, great ball control there, great passing, set up an easy kill opportunity for Mackenzie Kitchell. Set by Spatafora, here she comes down the line. Toledo again blocking, not necessarily their strongest component, as they rank 12th in the Mid-American Conference in blocks per set.
And that point will go to Ball State as Sage Thomas went into the net. And the timeout is called. Ball State has a 1-point lead.
15-14 here in set number 2. We'll take a break. You're watching Ball State Women's Volleyball on SportsLink TV.
The Mid-American Conference. We come from many places. We're as different as the games that we champion. But behind every great play, beneath every uniform, lies something even greater. Because the real goal is building better people. The Mid-American Conference. Sportsmanship for life since 1946.
Covering the Olympics in London as a student and seeing my work in the Chicago Tribune. That experience jump-started my career in New York City at Time Magazine and developed me into a true visual storyteller. Ball State, education redefined.
Ball State athletics. Some new aesthetics in the hallway. A nice print there lining the hallway there in HP. As a reminder, get ready to chirp, Ball State fans. The only all-access Ball State football show, Third Down Chirp, presented by Papa John's, airs every Friday at noon on ballstatesports.com. Plus, check your local listings for air dates on Fox College Sports, WIPV TV, and of course, Comcast Indiana. Back to the action as that one clips the line. Cardinals not too happy with the call there, as set 2 now level at 15 apiece. Annie Beasley will exit for the Rockets, as Coach Smith has to be happy, Andy, with his team's performance here. They are making the Cardinals work. Kitchell able to go after it, not able to put it away. Spatafora off balance, and the point to the Rockets. That's a big thing with Spatafora. On this point, not necessarily her point, but when she's off balance as the setter, it's very hard to get a good ball to the outside attackers or the middle attackers, and the point's likely not going to go the Cardinals' way.
Yeah, she got called for a double hit violation, which is really an exact replication of what happened, that off-balance play. It all started with the first defender for Ball State sending it up to her, and it just led to a point for Toledo. And now Toledo, by and large, with their largest lead of the match, 2 points here, 17-15.
Mackenzie Kitchell into the block. Katie Vasilakis right there. That one sails long. It's now a 3-point lead for Toledo. Allison Wilson is monitoring social media. We'll toss it over to you.
All right, Tori. Yes, we actually have a tweet coming in from Lisa Riggins, which her Twitter handle is at @mama_Riggins. And it says, keep broadcast going on. Keep up the good work. Go Cards. So let's keep up the good work, Tori.
Thank you to Lisa for tuning in and giving us a tweet, a reminder. Tweet us, Facebook us, Instagram us, does not matter. We are on all social media platforms, and Allison Wilson has it covered. A good timeout here as the Cardinals trail by 3. As while we continue to have a break, this Ball State SportsLink student production is brought to you by your East Central Indiana Ford dealers. Ford is proud to support Ball State student athletes and the students of Ball State SportsLink. So a big thanks to the East Central Indiana Ford dealers. Andy, if you're Coach Shondell, what are you telling your team as you trail by 3?
Well, they're certainly hurting themselves, Tori, and what I think he's telling them right now is just play within yourselves. They had a couple points in a row where the setter, Spatafor, did not get good looks from the defenders in the back row, and therefore she wasn't able to get the ball set perfectly to her attackers. We've seen Ball State hit it into the net lately. It's gone out of bounds, just out of whack. The Cardinals got to get back in rhythm.
Mackenzie Kitchell has gotten her fair share of attack attempts this evening. This time they'll go to Benson, and Toledo unable to handle it. The Cardinals close within 2. The big thing, I think, Andy, personally, so Toledo has this young team. We've mentioned that, a lot of new faces and a lot of new places. How are they going to handle being on the road in a tight set against a team that they know is a little bit stronger than them? How can they be spoiler? Are they going to get tight? Are they too young to know any better?
As that ball goes off the hands of Alex Filling. A great point I should make, Tori, is that Ball State isn't exactly the oldest team themselves. They have some younger players that are into the rotation for the first time. Kelly Hopkins, Spatafora, Sabrina Magnaport. And one thing that they struggled was being tight and not playing within themselves. As Spatafora with a no-look over the net hit, giving the Cardinals the lead. It's just a matter of playing within yourself and playing confidently. And Toledo is playing much better in the second set, so you know they have it within them. But as Coach Greg Smith said, it's consistency. And you get that by playing sound volleyball and being within yourself.
We've also seen Jessica Lindsay tonight. Sage Thomas finds a seam.
And Sage Thomas is quickly becoming the go-to girl for Coach Smith at Toledo. Now 7 kills to lead the way. She came in only 3rd on the team in kills with 83. But look out, the freshman is on a rampage.
There is your player to watch. Sabrina Magnapora brings the Cardinals within 2. And we're seeing a lot of, I would say, sharing the ball. Spatafor, the Cardinals, and also out of Hines, the setter for Toledo. This Toledo team, a lot of depth, a lot of new faces. 5 players have accumulated at least 50 kills coming into tonight for Toledo. And the same can be said about the Cardinals. They're not afraid to share the ball and go to whoever has the hot hand.
Well, ultimately, you have the best team when you have a multitude of players that can get the job done. If you're a team similar to Toledo, who most teams know you're going to have to face Alyssa Earhart, you can team up and block them appropriately. But for Ball State, they've got so many different weapons, it makes it difficult for teams to defend them because they don't necessarily know who the ball's going to go to on any given point.
Hopkins, not enough elevation there. That an easy block for the Rockets. Another timeout has been called. Steve Shondell wants to talk about it. Coach Greg Smith right there has got to be happy as he's got a 4-point lead here in set number 2.
As, again, taking a look at what Toledo has done, now hitting 115 here through 2 sets, and that's remarkably better than what they did in the first set, hitting negative 0-34. Just a good start for Toledo here in the second set.
The students and staff of Ball State SportsLink would like to thank Robbins Apparel for your screen printing or embroidery needs. Trust Robbins Apparel online at robbins-apparel.com. Again, 22-18 here in set number 2. If you're just joining us, quite honestly, where have you been? Ball State took the first set 25-12. It was a dominating set. We saw the Cardinals rattle off 10 straight points. The Rockets have bounced back here. And we have seen a consistent performance from the Toledo attack. Offensively, Toledo ranks last in the Mid-American Conference in hitting percentage. but it's not showing here. The Cardinals, especially their ball control, I think has been a little bit off, Andy.
Yeah, it continues to give them problems, and Toledo, give them credit, has fought back now. 20 kills through the first 2 sets, 12 in this set. And again, Toledo making things happen. Rachel Vitorek, the middle hitter.
I see confidence in the faces of Toledo, and confidence is a dangerous thing. Spatafora a little bit off balance. Magnapora unable to do anything with it. This one coming towards us is wide. Beasley just misses. Nick Tidrow, our stage manager, able to quickly get the hand up and deflect the ball away from the expensive equipment on this side. Nikki Box back to serve. Cardinals running out of time. It's going to be Beasley again into the block. Toledo will refire in the middle. Earhart able to find an elbow of the Cardinals. Ball State unable to do anything with it. It's set point for Toledo.
And once again, you see why their 1-16 record is deceiving. They have the talent, they have the mojo, just a matter of putting it together. Now 24-19, although that won't get the job done, a service error, giving the Cardinals the point again. It's just a matter of putting it all together and being consistent. And here, Toledo is playing a great set of volleyball.
Still set point for the Rockets. Kelly Hopkins with the serve. Over to Beasley, off the block. Point to Toledo and set to Toledo. We are all square at 1. When we come back is our halftime report. You're watching Ball State Women's Volleyball on SportsLink TV.
This is Nikki Box, and you're watching SportsLink TV.
Ball State SportsLink is bigger than ever. The best stories in Ball State sports, live game production, award-winning studio shows, and more. It's only from Ball State SportsLink, an immersive learning production.
The Emmy Award-winning student production from Ball State SportsLink has a new look and a new partner. Stoops Automotive is proud to present Ball State's only all-sports magazine show telling the best stories in Ball State athletics. Driven Air's
This is Aaron Taylor. Be sure to watch SportsLink Third Down Chirp Friday at noon. One team, one mission.
Okay, sports fans, it's game time at the Built Ford Tough Sales event. Hey, this is when
Necessary toughness
is the perfect play. And Ford F-150 with EcoBoost is a huge hit with power and efficiency. And keep an eye on the clock, pal, because fans snag one of these bad boys about every 42 seconds. Ford F-Series, #1, 37 years straight. That's called a dynasty, baby. Now, during the Built Ford Tough Sales event, score big savings on the hardest working lineup of trucks on the field.
And as the clock ran down, I sank the jumper.
And took the big trophy home.
And Aunt Jane.
I guess I did all right. But look at them. Cradle of coaches, Hall of Famers.
And Dad ran in the Olympic trial.
Your cousin played in the Sweet 16. And how about the College World Series?
That was awesome. If only I
You can. You both can. I'm already proud of you. Now, who gets these?
Me!
The Mid-American Conference, generations of champions since 1946.
We created a counseling program to help those living with HIV. I found my calling by tackling a global issue in my local community. It paved the way to Columbia University to study with Ivy League scholars. Ball State, education redefined.
If you sign up for DirecTV's latest deal, prepare to be blindsided. Because they'll double your rate before you know it. And you'll find you're locked into a 2-year contract that could cost you over $3,000. That's why the smart choice is Xfinity. You can see all the best action in football all season long, with no surprises. Don't get blindsided by DirecTV. Call 1-800-XFINITY today.
Welcome back. We've got a volleyball game here, folks. Ball State and Toledo tied at a set apiece. As quite honestly, it was a great first set out of the Cardinals. They won it 25-12, but Toledo came back with a vengeance. They have leveled this match off. And Andy, really a tale of two sets for both teams. And again, like I said when we came in, we've got a volleyball game.
This is Mid-American Conference volleyball. Get used to it. It doesn't matter if the record is 1-16. Toledo, with a lot of talent, giving Ball State problems. But Ball State had a good start. Here's Alex Filling with the kill. A lot of power. Haley Benson, the middle attacker, she had 8 kills in 11 attempts for the Cardinals. The go-to metronome, tick, 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 kill, kill, kill. But that second set was all about the Toledo Rockets here. On the move, the attacker for Toledo just making things happen. And Toledo, Tori, was just so impressive. They actually had 15 kills rather, in that set. A very good offensive set for the Rockets, who are known for their defense, but really put it all together on the offensive side.
Toledo hit below 0 in the first set. They came back, hit 296 in the second. Ball State's attacks percentage fell from 42% to 16. So again, a tale of two sets. Hey, Major League Baseball is in full swing, and Ball State baseball is right around the corner. So let's go back to a SportsLink exclusive, a feature pack entitled Caleb Goes to Alaska, as Ball State baseball player and SportsLink's own Caleb Staten got an opportunity of a lifetime to travel to Alaska to play some summer baseball. Take a look at this pack, produced by Caleb Staten and Luke Martin.
All of the baseball players go out and play summer ball, and I went out to my summer team. I was playing for the Lake Erie Monarchs. One of the highlights that my team got to do was we actually went out to Alaska for 2 weeks. Well, on my team, a bunch of college guys come together and join teams, and so there's guys from other schools in the MAC, and the Alaskan League is a lot bigger competition, a lot bigger schools go there, so playing against them was good for me personally for my game. We played probably 11 games in that many days, so we were playing every day, but we also just didn't want to go just to play baseball. We went to enjoy it too. The whole team, one of the highlights was going out. We went halibut fishing. 2 hours to a spot where you catch a lot of halibut, and yeah, we got to do that, fish. And you bring them in, they're probably 20 pounds a piece, and you know, it really takes it out of you to get them in the boat.
I ain't doing that. No way.
The Midnight Sun game, which is one of baseball's greatest traditions. They've been doing it for, I think, 109 years now, and that's a game that's played under the sun. It's played throughout midnight, so when it's normally dark in Alaska, it's not dark in the summer. So we played there. I think the game started around 10:30, and we play a whole 9-inning game without lights, and then ended around 1:15 in the morning. The crowd and the electricity of the game really kind of just pushed through that, and so you go out, and there's probably 3,000 people out there in a small field. And so they're all cheering against you, booing you, and it just gets you going, the competitor inside you. One of my other great experiences was taking an airplane ride up to Mount McKinley. Me and my dad did that. Got on an airplane, flew around probably a couple hours in the morning. You fly up and you're 10,000 feet in the air, and there's still mountains above you. And I think that's kind of crazy. We were actually able to land on a glacier right at the base camp at Mount McKinley, and got out and walked around. We actually were able to talk to some climbers that were going up right at that time, so it was cool to just, you're not the only thing there, you're not just, everybody's focused on you playing baseball, like there's a lot going on in Alaska, it makes you feel kind of small, but that feeling, it also makes you grateful just for the opportunity to go out and see other things, experience stuff.
A great story there, produced by Caleb Staten and Luke Martin. We'll take another break. Back with set 3. After this, you're watching Ball State Women's Volleyball on SportsLink TV.
This is Alex Filling, and you're watching SportsLink TV. Chirp, chirp!
Okay, sports fans, it's game time at the Built Ford Tough Sales event. Hey, this is when
Necessary toughness
is the perfect play. And Ford F-150 with EcoBoost is a huge hit with power and efficiency. And keep an eye on the clock, pal, because fans snag one of these bad boys about every 42 seconds. Ford F-Series, #1, 37 years straight. That's called a dynasty, baby. Now, during the Built Ford Tough Sales event, score big savings on the hardest working lineup of trucks on the field.
Hundreds of real-world interviews at Ball State helped me realize the responsibility that comes with being in front of the camera. Society needs passionate journalists. Now I'm on air in DC with the whole world watching. Ball State, education redefined.
We have talked about it throughout the broadcast. Now let's kind of revisit it. The Toledo Rockets were a true powerhouse last season, MAC West co-division champions. As you take a quick look outside at the moon above Worthen Arena, it was the first MAC West championship for Toledo in program history. Coach Greg Smith able to bring it to Toledo, but 4 of the 5 starters from last season graduate. They have 7 new players on the roster. This is a complete rebuilding effort for Coach Smith, and it's going to take some time for Toledo to come back to the top of the MAC West.
Yeah, he sees potential in this group, Tori, and he said over the next 3 years he expects to see significant improvements. It's just a matter of getting this team gelled and the chemistry strong for them for the next couple of years. And the great thing about them, Tori, is over the next 4 years they will be able to develop that synergy and be able to play with one another much better. But they're doing that right now in the 3rd set, leading 1-0.
Again, confidence. This Toledo team, I can tell just by their faces, they have a lot of confidence. They feel like now they can compete with anybody. You look at the replay. Frazier, the lone returner from last season's team. How appropriate, great timing. As this one, Benson unable to control. But Coach Smith talked about, you know, when he took over at Toledo, it was about getting players in the program and getting them there as soon as possible. Now, with them graduating, they've got to start over, but he feels like he has more opportunities to redshirt people. He has more opportunity to spread out some scholarships, so they won't have to be put in this position again.
But right now, the position they're in, and we keep saying this, is very good. A quick 3-0 lead, and the talent of these freshmen. Number 14, Annie Beasley, and then the senior Brooke Frazier contribute on that double block. They're the services to make it 3-1 Toledo. You have to be excited if you're Coach Smith, seeing your team going against Ball State here at Worthen Arena. And again, the growth will come, the maturity will come, but they're playing well right now and capable of a lot.
Toledo also has 5 different players with at least 3 kills. Sage Thomas has 7 so far in 12 attempts as the point goes to the Cardinals. 3-2 the score here. We go to the replay, and the combination of Benson and Spadafora enough to get the point for Ball State.
Those two periodically team up on the net when they block together. Very good overall this season against Spadafora. Now that's her 5th block already in this match, contributing well to the blocking game.
Flag up and the point to Toledo as a service error on the Cardinals.
And service errors are a team's worst enemy, and simply it's just as simple to get it over the net. And Coach Shondel's actually told me that he's removed players from further playing time if they don't get the ball over the net. You have to do that.
You got to at least give yourself an opportunity. 3 service errors out of the Cardinals, 4 service errors out of the Rockets. As Haley Benson comes through, the Cardinals are within 1, and this is a huge set. Obviously, this is going to sound elementary, but whoever wins set 3 is going to have a lot of control going into set 4, and they're not going to have to win 2 in a row. As right in front of us, Alyssa Earhart with the attack air. Earhart with 12 total attacks so far in this match. 3 airs, 4 kills.
Certainly not a ratio you'd like to see, and Earhart has had trouble, again, hitting down on the ball. That's what you want to do as an attacker, so it goes vertically to the floor and instead doesn't soar out of bounds.
It's been Earhart who has led the Rockets in kills in 11 of the last 12 matches. She's racked up double-digit kills 6 times this year. But statistically speaking, as the error by Magnapora, it's been Sage Thomas for the Rockets who leads the team in kills in this match. So give credit to the freshman, again, from Corpus Christi, Texas, as Toledo continues to lead. Magnapora bouncing back.
That
levels
ball,
the set at 5.
That ball went into the nest off the hands of Lauren Bakaitis. You see here on your screen. Bakaitis, again, replacing Ellen Hayes for Toledo Tori, who had over 500 digs last year. She transferred to Marquette. Now Bakaitis getting early action. Didn't get it there, but doing well, though, so far.
Point to the Rockets. Cardinals not necessarily agreeing with our first referee, Dan Apel.
And ever since that first set, this match has only gone back and forth. Very small leads overall, a lot of ties, as Toledo is showing why they do have talent and can play good volleyball.
Toledo able to keep it alive. Vasilakis finds Amanda Raker. Point continues. Reminds me of the first point of the match. But Alex Hines, right place, right time, an easy kill for her.
And here you see Filling and Hopkins collide as Filling went for the dig, and it just was too much power on it because it went over the net. And as you said, Hines with the free ball, able to get the point. Nothing going right for the Cardinals here lately.
Attack air out of Magnapora. Her 3rd of the match. And the Cardinals once again find themselves behind early against set number 1, 25-12 Cardinals. It looked like after set 1 the Cardinals were just going to roll to victory, but Toledo has responded and responded well. A 3-point lead as Sage Thomas serves. Amanda Raker up the middle. They're gonna get her for carrying it.
And all of a sudden, a 5-0 run for Toledo. And they have outscored, now that you think about it, Ball State, they have outscored them 34-25 since the first set. As they look to take control. But not if Jill Hopper has anything to say about it.
Jill Hopper
sees action. She is actually from Yorktown, Indiana, played here locally, went to a college in Florida, and transferred back here.
Florida Gulf Coast is where Hopper began her collegiate career, the junior transfer. So Coach Shondell not afraid to go to the bench. And big picture-wise, Coach Shondell, he just needs a spark. He needs somebody, doesn't matter who it is, to get the Cardinal offense going. Again, they hit just 161 in set number 2, whereas in set number 1 they hit 423. That's a big fall off. And even though that Cardinal offense really didn't get going in set number 2, they were right there as Toledo, not necessarily overpowering the Cardinals. Service error there brings the Cardinals within 3, and those service errors are going to haunt you each and every time, Andy.
Yeah, that ends a run. They're the usual agnosticator of ending a run anytime in volleyball, and it gives Ball State the point. We'll try to bounce back.
Haley Benson with the block. Credit Amanda Raker as well. This is a Toledo team that has lost 6 straight. The Cardinals are trying to win their 3rd straight. as the Cardinals give a service error right back. But you look at it, Toledo 0-4 in conference play, Ball State 3-1. Sound like a broken record, but again, same situation. Amanda Raker and Haley Benson. Credit Raker the most with a huge block there to bring the Cardinals within 2. A great look at it from our camera high above the net. Third time in a row, Toledo has fed Beasley. Box from the back, too much.
Nikki Box is actually formerly an outside hitter from Yorktown High School, so she always likes to take those attacks, Tori, from the back row. And there she just had a little too much momentum running into it, and again, hit into the ball so that it soars into the air past the end line. And that's tough to do, especially when you're in the back row, because you have to get over the net. You can't hit it vertically.
Cardinals luck out there. A poor set by Spadafora, but Benson able to do something with it.
And it doesn't matter, it seems like, how you get the ball to Haley Benson, because she'll turn it into positive points. Now 10 kills in the match for Haley Benson on 15 attempts.
Free ball for Spadafora brings the Cardinals within 1. And now Toledo, as the set gets a little bit tighter, coming up with some uncharacteristic mistakes in this match.
Yeah, Spadafora with the recognition there, and Toledo, we saw how well they played, but here again, these mistakes, poor passing, balls into the net, are plaguing them once again. And there again, Spadafora with the send down, and all we can say, Tori, is we knew this was coming. Consistency is a problem for the Toledo Rockets. They have the talent. Look at that incredible match in the second set when they had 11 kills, or 14 kills rather, and then all of a sudden, here they're imploding 12 all after the Rockets at one point had a 4-point lead.
Big swing out of Frazier for Toledo. Does not matter as Benson able to put the Cardinals ahead 13-12. As we look at the replay here, the middle attackers for Ball State, they are crucial for this offense. And Benson specifically gives the Cardinals the lead as Toledo will want that back. An ace for Alex Filling, and there is a timeout on the floor. It's a 2-point lead for the Cardinals here in set number 3. We'll take a commercial break. You're watching Ball State Women's Volleyball on SportsLink TV.
The Mid-American Conference. We come from many places. We're as different as the games that we champion. But behind every great play, beneath every uniform, lies something even greater. Because the real goal is building better people. The Mid-American Conference. Sportsmanship for life since 1946.
Today, the phone company is nickel and diming you. But tomorrow, you could be saving a fortune. Save on your home phone bill with Xfinity Voice from Comcast. Plus text from your home number and save on your wireless bill. Switch to Xfinity Voice with unlimited talk and text for $19.99 a month for 12 months. Or step up to an Xfinity X1 Triple Play and save even more. Call 1-800-XFINITY today.
Beneficence watching over the Ball State campus with her arm held out. We are in set number 3 here at Worthen Arena. Action has returned. If you are just joining us, boy, the story of the match so far, Toledo hanging around as we go to some highlights. Andy, what has stood out to you?
Well, Toledo has really done well in the blocking game. You see there, 2 players converting on it, Brooke Frazier and Sage Thomas, something that Toledo wasn't known for coming into this match. They turn it around here in this one with a team total of 5 blocks, just 1 under Ball State. That's something considerable of an effort we've seen because Toledo was 12th in the MAC. That's last in blocks overall.
15-12 Cardinals here in set number 3 as Spadafora with the dump. Coach Shondell approves of the play. Now 16-12, excuse me.
And this is a 10-2 run that Ball State is on. Toledo was up 10-6. The Cardinals, though, have woken up and are chirping loud and hard here at Worthen Arena.
Toledo has gone to Beasley a lot here in set number 3. That attack is long. Point to BSU and another timeout on the floor. And again, perhaps we've put the jinx on Toledo. We have been praising them, especially in set number 2 and the beginning of set number 3. But now the Cardinals have responded. If you're just joining us and you've missed Toledo having success, Andy, what stood out to you?
Well, again, one thing you have to note is their offense is high and flowing. Overall, they're getting good looks, good passes from the setter, Alex Hines, and they've taken advantage of Ball State mistakes there. A poor setup from Alex Filling, and again, a free ball here for Alex Hines again. They just are playing within themselves. They're not trying to do too much. They're playing as the volleyball comes, they hit it where it needs to be hit. And again, blocking has to be something we mentioned because Toledo only had, they're last in the MAC in blocks, here 5, matching Ball State 6. Certainly making it difficult for the Cardinals defensively, and they continue to dig well. 29 digs as a team. Toledo's 6th in the MAC in digs, so that's one thing they do well.
So as we credit Toledo, now let's give credit to the Cardinals because they have swinged this set quickly back in their favor. They lead by 5. I tell you what, Amanda Raker has been an impact player off the bench, coming up with some key blocks. We've seen Haley Benson come through with some big-time kills, and because of it, Toledo, I think, has started to panic a little bit. We've seen service errors. We've seen some poor attacks by Earhart and Beasley. And there's Haley Benson again. It's now 18-12. The Toledo that we just showed, the Toledo that we just talked about, seemingly they're gone.
And again, it's because of veteran moves like that from Haley Benson, who instead of going at the full tip of her jump, instead just tips it over and gets the defense off guard. And Toledo, again, this is where youth comes in a little bit. As you lose the lead, you panic a little bit, you called it, Tori, and they just start hitting balls harder past the line. They don't block as well. They're not as focused. As Ball State has continued to make this a run, now counted a 13-2 run. The Cardinals have outscored the Rockets by 11 points in just this short stretch in the third set.
Now a violation on Toledo. It's starting to unravel, and now Coach Smith will need to do something. We're going to get a substitute, I believe. Yes, we will. It will be number 12, Mary O'Connor, the sophomore from Wisconsin. An outside hitter, perhaps Coach Smith realizing they need some offense, and they need it quickly. Well, Jill Hopper had a big kill earlier in this match. That one she definitely would want to have back. So in essence, a free point to Toledo. Again, 19-13, Cardinals ahead in set number 3. We are level at 1 apiece. As miscommunication there, Mackenzie Kitchell sliding in. Or excuse me, not Mackenzie Kitchell, Marissa Hine was the one sliding in.
We mentioned Hine, who has made her first start this season at home. 6 digs overall in limited play.
Haley Benson.
I tell you what, Tori, if it doesn't stop working, keep going to it. Haley Benson is just that. 13 kills in 18 attempts now. She can't be stopped.
The offense has come alive for Ball State, and Toledo hasn't been able to handle it. Katie Vasilakis back to serve. We'll definitely talk about Vasilakis a little bit later on in the broadcast. As Hopper with the solo block. Toledo, no elevation on that attack.
Jill Hopper, someone not many fans would know on this Ball State team, again, coming as a transfer, but the beauty of this program is that Shondell equips all these players with the right tools and playing abilities to come in when needed and make contributions. Jill Hopper, and you mentioned Amanda Rager, and able to just come in and contribute right from the get-go because Coach Shondell puts them in the best situations.
Alyssa Earhart there for Toledo brings the Rockets within 6. We've seen Earhart on the far side. That time we saw her on the near. Kelly Hopkins up the middle. Not necessarily the best set out of Spadafora. Hopkins had to kind of reach down to go after that one.
And Rachel Vitorek was all over the block for Toledo. Vitorek, not known as much of a blocker, but here, sending it back home from Kelly Hopkins.
Hopper will play, clips the line. Not necessarily how the Cardinals may have wanted it to go, but a point nonetheless. You mentioned Vitorek. Andy, Coach Smith talked about she's the workhorse of the Toledo Rockets team. She's been moved around because of various injuries suffered by the Toledo lineup. As here's Earhart right in front of us, the point to the Rockets. So Toledo has been able to stop the bleeding since the timeout, but the Cardinals in control, trying to take set number 3.
And again, volleyball, all about runs, limiting these points to 2 or 3 point streams. But again, Ball State scored 10 points in a row and have gotten back in this set. And Jill Hopper rising to the occasion, coming off the bench. Now she has 3 kills in just limited playing time. Steve Shondell has a wonderful player in Hopper now that he can go to at any point.
Cardinals within 2 points of taking the set. Nikki Box back to serve. Mackenzie Kitchell with a big-time kill.
And that puts us within set point of this match. The Cardinals can go up 2 sets to 1, and it all was because of Mackenzie Kitchell's electric point.
Kitchell with 4 kills and 11 attempts in the match. How will Toledo respond? It sails long. That's the point and the set to the Cardinals, 25-17. We'll take another break. You're watching Ball State Women's Volleyball on SportsLink TV.
The plane is ours.
Is there anyone who wants to dance?
I jolly well do.
You were right. I can watch my DVR shows anywhere.
Take your DVR shows anywhere. The X1 Entertainment Operating System, only from Xfinity.
Ball State SportsLink is bigger than ever. The best stories in Ball State sports, live game production, award-winning studio shows, and more. It's only from Ball State SportsLink, an immersive learning production.
Fox College Sports, CBS, ESPN. Impressive clients for college students. We write, direct, and produce our Emmy-nominated programs daily. We even designed our own virtual set. Ball State, education redefined.
Cardinals lead it 2 sets to 1 as we look at the third set highlights. Andy, Ball State started off slow, but that offense came through late and ultimately is the reason why the Cardinals have taken a 2-1 lead.
Yeah, it all starts with ball control. As we've mentioned, good attacks, and the Cardinals, again, taking advantage of where the ball was placed. Spadafora with a free ball at the net, able to take advantage. Now here's the quick attack to Haley Benson. Talk about automatic, 13 kills in 18 attempts. The Cardinals have been going to her early and often and continue to do so. And Ball State, going back to that ball control point, when they pass well, when they get the ball to Spadafora as the setter, and she in rhythm gets the ball to her attackers, this offense can rarely be stopped. And Haley Benson is proven of that because she has 13 kills in 18 attempts. It's been other areas where the Cardinals have struggled. Magna Pora is hitting 18%. Also hitting about 12% is Kelly Hopkins. And then hitting 18% is Mackenzie Kitchell. In volleyball, you want to hit around the 26-27% mark. It's a lot like baseball where 300 is a good average, 30% is a good average here in volleyball. And the Cardinals were able to take advantage of some Toledo mistakes, and Toledo impounded. So it led to a 2-1 lead here in the fourth set to start.
And Ball State closed the third set on a 16-5 run. The students of Ball State Sports Link would like to thank the staff of WIPB-TV in Muncie. Thanks to everyone at WIPB, including Bill Bryant, Rob Foltz, Keith Huffman, and our engineers in charge, Eugene Smith and Rick Martin. We truly could not do this without those guys' help each and every time we have some television broadcasts. Again, the Cardinals lead it 2-1. Toledo, with this very young team, we're going to see how they're going to respond. A little bit of adversity here. They have at times looked like the better team. However, the Cardinals have stolen away set number 3. They're in control up a set. It's going to take a lot out of the Rockets if they want to extend this to a 5th set.
Yeah, the Rockets give them credit after seeing Ball State win the first by 13 points, 25-12. They came out with a great resiliency, winning the next set by 5 points, and then Ball State doing what they do best, takes the set 3 victory 25-17. It's going to take an awful strong effort from Coach Greg Smith of Toledo and his Rockets team. We've seen the talent. This freshman team mostly is very talented, very gifted on the volleyball court, but Ball State's experience and chemistry is right now making the difference.
Service error right out of the gate for Toledo. It's the 6th service error of the match on the Rockets. As you look at the hitting percentages, Toledo was at 0. 7 kills, 7 errors in set number 3. Ball State was able to hit 258. Specifically looking at some of the players for Ball State, it has been Haley Benson with 13 kills and 18 total attacks, a .667 percentage. Mackenzie Kitchell able to get enough on it to put Ball State ahead 2-0. And right now, if Toledo's not careful, the floodgates are going to open and Ball State's going to run away with this set like they did set number 1.
The momentum that Ball State got, Tori, in that 10-0 run has carried over thus far in the 4th set. Another service ace for the Cardinals. And now it's 3-0, and Toledo, this is where you need your leader, Alyssa Earhart, to step up. Coach Smith has said her, along with Brooke Frazier, are the leaders of this team. They have to just lead the team, even in tough times.
Haley Benson, again, 9th kill of the evening as we look at it on replay here.
Benson on that curl route, attacking across her body past the dig attempt of Sage Thomas. That's just great vertical attack on the volleyball.
No chance for Toledo to return that one. However, Brooke Frazier